Hey, how has your second day been? Nice. I'm telling you, I didn't get the opportunity to sit in on all the presentations, like I really would like to, but from what I heard, I think you guys should have a notebook full of notes to take back with you and find that one light bulb moment to really go implement and make it real and make it happen. We are coming to the end of State of Search Conference for 2023. I am very excited to introduce Duane Forrester. He's a lifer. He's been here many years. He's been the closing keynote for many years, and he always has such interesting things to say. And so now we're closing the year, right? We're November. We have 1 month left to go. So what's next? What's happening is what he's going to be talking to us about. And I want to tell you a little bit about him. Some of you have heard of him, some of you may not have. But Duane Forrester is the Vice President of Industry Insights for Yes, leading search industry outreach, evangelism, and authorship for the company. Previously, he was the VP Operations with Bruce Clay Incorporated, one of the oldest digital marketing agencies in the United States, where he led the operations for organic and paid search, social content, and design. Prior to moving to BCI, he was a senior product manager launching Bing's Webmaster Program, focused on helping businesses improve their digital marketing efforts, and was part of the team managing schema.org. During this time, he worked through Microsoft's SMB and Startup Incubator programs to advise dozens of early stage and growth stage startups from coast to coast. Previously, he was an in-house SEM running the SEO program for MSN in the US and Americas. He's also the founding co-chair of SEMPO's. Okay, doesn't matter. And is the author of 2 books, How to Make Money with Your Blog and Turn Clicks into Customers. Ooh, I need to read that. Entrepreneur Magazine, the New York Times, and Inc. He actively advises startups and large corporations and even spent time advising the staff who maintain the White House's website. You think he knows anything? I'm not sure. Give a warm welcome to Duane Forrester.
All right, can you all hear me?
Yes.
Check, Simmons. Can we get a reference? One person of reference. Thank you. That's okay, everybody else is younger than me, that's fine. So let's try this. Okay. Soon, what's up with that? We're gonna get to that. First, right now, I promise, and I solemnly do swear that I'm going to have ChatGPT rewrite my bio. Because wow. Okay, I can do better, I promise it. So, have you guys learned anything about AI over the last couple days? Talked about it? Yeah? Okay, it's all it is. Just, we're moving that fast. Just to be clear, right? Has anybody heard the latest news? Google is looking to partner with TikTok.
Wow.
Yeah, okay, so just to be clear, right? I am the original ChatGPT where I make up some shit. That was not me making up something. They're literally working on a partnership agreement with TikTok. We don't know what it is. It's just kind of behind the scenes, inside baseball, somebody leaks the fact that the conversations are happening. But here's what's super important. That stuff is happening. So not in my presentation, but y'all are gonna hear it from me, just kind of off the top of my head. So everybody's familiar with the Fortune 500 list, right? All the big companies, been around since about the mid-1950s and been tracking that. The average lifespan of a company in 1960 that was on that list was 26 years. So they've been around for 26 years, okay? And that included at the time, companies like Sears Roebuck that have been around for 100 years. So pretty robust, proud people. Does anybody here not know who Sears was? Because I can see some people in the crowd who Sears evaporated before you got a credit card. And there's a reason for that. So the reason I bring this up is that next year, 2024, the length, that lifespan we talked about, that's projected to be down to 15 years. And I'd like you to now take a look at how old Google is. I'd like you to take a look at how old Microsoft is, how old Amazon is. You will understand that we are absolutely, almost required to face change rapidly in the next 2 years. We're already seeing it. Microsoft's reinvented itself a number of times over this lifespan that it has had, becoming various companies, doing various things. It is always changing. That's how it continues to thrive. Amazon, does anybody remember when Amazon launched? It was like a list of links to books, right? And now it's their life. It's everything. It's what I love and hate about every day, the delivery field. And those days when I don't have something coming, I think I'm failing at living life. And my need to shop is validation, not because I need shit. So it's all to say Amazon's a pretty big deal. So again, it's this reinvention. We see this with AI. 1 year ago, OpenAI launched ChatGPT. 1 year ago. I want you all to remember that because at the time you weren't thinking about much. You were like, I need a double soy, triple cream latte. That's my number one focus today. And a bunch of people came out with a press release saying, hey, we're going to use generative AI over here. Come on in and play with this thing called GPT-3. And you were like, what? Yeah, whatever. And today it is our everything. So we've always been kind of in tune with this idea of watching companies grow, how fast they reach 100 million users, how fast they reach the daily number of users they have, and so on. And OpenAI just completely rewrote the book on that. I mean, those guys got to a billion faster than anyone. They did 100 million in 48 hours. So when you're doing 100 million new users in a 48-hour period, whatever paradigm we had for comparing growth prior is no longer valid. Because now you're saying, my company, we grew at 112 million people a minute. It's starting to get a little bit crazy. And when you actually listen to the numbers that are coming out of their developers conference last week, those guys are rocking 100 million active users a week. Do some just simple mental math, right? Let's say we've got 7 billion people on the planet. Let's say 1.5 of them are not really connected, so they don't have access to this. We'll round it up to 2 because a lot of people are connected, but they still don't have access. So we're sitting somewhere around 5 billion people, and these guys are pulling in 100 million people a week. It's pretty safe to say that generative AI and those types of systems isn't our future. It's literally right now. So, I'm going to get us in on this. We're going to talk about consumer behavior. We're going to talk about kind of what drives them, and then we're going to bring it back around to how this actually ties in with the engines. Along the way, I would introduce you to the concept of the search mullet. Okay? Yeah, I went there. Straight to the hairstyles. Raise your hand if you've ever rocked a mullet in your life. So, ladies, don't be afraid. Come on, it's not just that thing, right? All right, where are they at? So, like it or not, right, the survey came out, and it was a little bit biased, but apparently the survey is saying 51% of women prefer to find information on TikTok. But whether it's accurate or not, I really don't care. I know this guy likes to find information on TikTok. I've been there since they launched. I love it. I tell people to go there. Raise your hand if you're on TikTok. Let the record show every hand went up because even those who didn't raise their hands are just embarrassed about it. That's okay. You're in good company. You're safe. It's all right. You should be watching what's going on there, okay? Nothing in search is growing faster than queries on TikTok. And I'm going to show you a slide a little while from now that is really going to open your eyes on where the future of search lies. And I can tell you right now, it's not in what you think of as a search engine. So, Gen Z prefers TikTok due to the video format. You guys are all producing short form video content, right? And kind of like making video content part of your program. Again, everybody, because you're here, I see all the heads nodding, and everybody's saying, oh yeah, I'm already ahead of this curve. Those aren't looks of panic that I see. Excellent. So here's the article, straight up, right? 74% of Gen Z is using TikTok search. 51% of survey respondents choose TikTok over Google as their main search engine. Does anybody make this alternate Google choice out somewhere else? Shouldn't be shocking to anybody to know that I'm a big guy, work there, my friends work there. Where you talking about now? Where you digging? Yeah, there he goes. Right there, right? These are people. Right? Okay. The reason they're there, video format and results, more relatable answers, personalized answers. These are really, really important concepts. And it's not enough for you to understand them and say, oh yeah, I know what those words mean. What's important is to actualize on that through your content program. That's the critical component. So, just to, I want to make this point, like the search engines aren't looking for your best answer, right? So when you produce content, put something out there, the search engines are not looking for your best answer. They are looking for the best answer, full stop. And if that's you, congratulations, you win the lottery. If it's not you, that's okay. They got dozens, hundreds of other options to choose from. Google will be just fine. So it's not your best answer, it's the best answer every single time. So if you think you have the best answer and you're not ranking well, there's a clue in there. It's not because Google doesn't like you, it's not because there's some penalty or anything like that. It's because somebody else out there is resonating more with your target audience than you are. So you need to understand those other people that are ranking everything they're doing. Not just the technical SEO, not just, oh, look at the code page, I see this, oh, they've got structured data in their code. That must be what they're doing more structured data than me. No, you gotta look offline, online, what are their consumer reviews, what do people think about their brand, how are they interacting with people, what is the tone of their brand, does that brand resonate with which generation of shopper, all of these factors come together, and one of those is your technical SEO. And if you wanna rank, better be considering all the rest of it. Oh, yeah. So TikTok, the next 4 most popular apps in 2022 combined for downloads were still 60 million shy of what TikTok did. And that's really important when I get to an upcoming slide about where search is happening generationally. Okay? Someone correct me, but everybody here's going to get a copy of this presentation after, right? So, yeah. So if I go quick and miss a photo, like, don't worry about it. You're still going to have an option, right? So, really, really important. ChatGPT, 100 million active weekly users as of September. So, fresh, current information. More importantly, it's probably higher than that now. Has anybody, Snap? Anybody on Snap? Okay, well, hey, look at you. That's awesome, right? I have an account, right? I got their first generation glasses, used them twice on a trip to New York City, posted a couple videos. They're sitting next to my Google glasses now that are in a box somewhere for a future generation that I will sell for $10,000 each. Someone will pay me. Just gotta wait a little bit. All right, Instagram is growing at 7.9%. Facebook year-on-year about 1%. So when I pulled the numbers, it looked like X was going to lose about 2.7. I'm taking bets now whether X just closed the shop soon. Like, I don't know. It's truly struggling. TikTok is doing a 12.7 year-over-year growth. Snapchat's at 13.4. So very much growing faster than anyone else. It's because the demographics that are in there. The demographics that are in there are very early, or a very early stage alpha generation, which are still kids, but Gen Z is fully in there, and there's late stage millennials that make up the top end of the users in Snap. And that's really important because those millennials and those Gen Z, those are the people that are starting to come toward their prime earning years in their career right now. They're all the people that are facing burnout. They're all the people that are hoping for a better job. They're all the people who, I apologize for this, literally can get into the housing market now, even though they want to. It's that generation. And they are truly consumers. They aren't kids anymore. They are full adults, full consumers with their own plans and their own desires. They want things, and if you don't approach them in terms that they understand and that resonate with them, they will simply skip right past you. It's as easy as a swipe now. Right? Has anybody purchased anything on TikTok? Hashtag TikTok maybe buy it. For you or your kids? Oh, maybe. There you go. They're healthy kids, right? You can go buy their own stuff, right? You know. So it's a big deal. Everything that's happening in these alternate areas. It is taking, if not search share, then search actions into different areas, more so than we would normally do. So this is that chart that I was referencing. So groups that are 16 to 24, they're doing the searches on social networks. 25 to 34, social networks. 35 to 44, still searching on search engines, and then on social. And as you can see, as we get older, you see the preference for where they find their data and their information. And this is huge, because this is our reality. As that top left hand continues to age, their behavior won't change. They will have higher expectations of social. They will dig more into social, want more from it, be given more from it, and not go to other places. This is changing our landscape in search. This is what's forcing Google and Microsoft and every other search engine to adopt generative AI and move in these new directions. It's people's behavior. Has anybody in here heard of the Humane Pin AI pin? I ordered mine today. Okay, I was one of the early hand raisers, so I got early access to purchase apparently in January now. Send my money now. In January, I get something. They're saying it's going to replace your phone. That's their idea, is it replaces your phone. And if you have not looked at this thing before, go to YouTube, watch the videos, see what it's capable of. And this is an early version. This isn't even the version that it's going to grow into a year from now, when it's fully capable. And it is a piece of equipment that you wear on your shirt and you talk to it. And it does not use apps or a screen to interact. If you want to read something, a laser projects the information onto the palm of your hand. If you want to talk to it, you tap it, you say what you want, and it uses ChatGPT 4 or any one of a number of services to go and get that information and bring it back to you. You can tell it summarize all the unread emails in my inbox, and it will go ahead and summarize them for you. You want a summary of the top news stories from the last 2 hours in the United States, we'll go and get that and bring those back for you. It's all auditory or visual if you want to look at your hand and read the green laser. So these are new modes of how we do this, right? Is anyone familiar with the Meta Ray-Ban sunglasses? Okay, picked up a set in New York 2 weeks ago when I was there. Look, they're sunglasses. They're big, they're chunky. I look like Buddy Holly. I can't sing worth a crap, but there they are. They don't project anything. You can't project anything on the screen. You can have a conversation with those things, and it will bring you information, and it will give you directions, and it will record audio and video, and it will live stream what I'm seeing directly up to the world. That changes people's patterns of behavior, because instead of reaching into your pocket for a device, you now simply have a conversation aloud. And as those young generations get used to that type of technology, they will require all of their information to be retrieved through those modes, or something like it. I do not know. There's a very high chance I wasted my money today and will continue to waste my money on new things that will end up in boxes to be sold later for $10,000. There we go. If anybody wants my Google Glasses for $10,000, see me after the presentation. We'll work something out. So the fact of the matter, though, is consumers' time is expanding. We can do more now as consumers than we've ever been able to do before. And as a business, time is contracting. We expect more from businesses, faster, quicker, and we have no patience for any delays. I recently ordered their battery banks. I do a lot of camping, so I have some pretty hefty lithium phosphate batteries coming. Funny enough, they were actually in the town next to us yesterday. And I thought, oh, I could probably get them back to California faster if I just pick them up from FedEx and book them myself. So they can't go on an airplane and have to be on the back of trucks. So there we are. But as a consumer, my problem with this is that wasn't explained to me. Amazon told me my order had shipped. And 2 days after my order had shipped, one of the 2 batteries showed up on my doorstep. And when I asked the delivery person what the other part of my order was, he just shook his head and said, owners will not put up with. And as fate would have it for that driver, the meeting I had before this one was with the lady who runs digital marketing for FedEx. So I had a conversation with her. It's not going to change the damn thing. My battery will show up next week. That's the way it is. But as a consumer, I want to know these things. It's important to me to know this. Because I literally had a moment on the weekend where I thought, I should just cancel my order and order something else from a competing company. Because what I wanted was the satisfaction of knowing that my money was well cared for and well placed. I know the product is good, but I also want to know that the company is good behind it. And kind of have some misgivings there. So I want all those answers as fast as possible. That's the critical thing. How important is it? 66% of consumers say valuing their time is the most important thing you can do to show them good customer service. Value their time. That's critical. They put value on it. Casey and I were having this conversation earlier where we were talking about flight delays. And, he got rerouted to LAX, and rather than wait overnight, he took an Uber down to San Diego. It was an expensive Uber, but if you consider what Casey's time is worth per hour, it was easily the right choice to make. So consumers all feel this way. Does anyone here like to have their time wasted? I mean, it's like, yeah, I know, Christine, you love that, right? It's like you don't go on to Google Maps and go mediocre pizza near me, right? Like nobody's looking for that 3.5 pizza. It's best, and that's it. So that's going to lead us to something I'll talk about in a minute. 47%, they're likely to abandon their online purchase if they can't find a quick answer. Okay, I got a pair of fleece line jogging pants last week. I know. That's impressive enough. What was even more impressive is their sizing chart. And then they took the step to cull all the data from past services or from past sales and actually pull out the information where consumers told them it was true to size. So that when I looked at the size chart, I knew that what it was telling me was accurate. Not one's small, one's large, but accurate. So I felt super confident when I made that purchase. It's a throwaway purchase. It's a $19 piece of clothing. I'll use it when I go camping. And if I don't have it, that's fine. But I felt like I accomplished something when that thing showed up, and it was exactly what I wanted. So, answer my questions. Why is it a problem? 66% say a frustrated website experience hurts my opinion of the brand. This is us every day in our life. It's everywhere. Everywhere we go, every brand we interact with. I will say this. The best experience, or the minimum experience that I expect to have tomorrow is better than the best experience I had today. That is the consumer mindset. Every day is a reset, and your target is better than the best I had yesterday. If you don't meet that standard, you suck. You're dead to me. I don't like your brand. You're getting a 1-star review. I think you earned it. I worked hard to make sure that I wrote a scathing review. I feel vindicated. These are all negative feelings, right? These are not things that consumers should be associated with your brand. Because ultimately, I don't have it in here, consumers, when they share bad things, they literally share at a 3-to-1 ratio. So if I have something positive to say, like those fleece line jogging pants are the shit, they are awesome. Everybody needs these in their life. It's amazing. I guarantee you, somebody who bought those who's disappointed in them didn't tell a room this size. They are still talking about it a year later to anyone who will listen, and they have told hundreds of people about how bad their experience was. They will continue to dine out on that story for years. There's nothing like negative emotions to create engagement. It's why we have news the way we have it. It's why we have social media the way we have it. Not healthy, but there we go. And it impacts business. A bad mobile experience makes you less likely to engage with the company. 55% of respondents feel that way. So if you're not thinking mobile first every single time, if you've ever looked at your laptop in the last year and told someone, oh no, it looks okay to me, that's wrong. You do not look at your laptop and say, that looks okay to me. Pull out your phone and you look at it on the phone And then you say, oh no, that's okay on mobile, now let's see what else is going on. Google is mobile first, Bing is mobile first, every search engine is mobile first. So you can't look at something on a desktop and determine if it's working or not. This is just not realistic. Grab your phone, take a look. I guarantee you it's a different experience. In fact, 88% of consumers willing to pay more for a better customer experience. Anybody here feel that way? Not far from my home is a retirement community, so every time I go for groceries, there are seniors lying in front of me. And I've lost track of how many times I've almost purchased all of their groceries, just moving along. I want a better experience, and I am willing to pay for it. That's my version of it. I'm sure you all have your version of it. Standing in Starbucks, the person is looking at you saying, oh, your name's Bob, how do you spell that? And you're thinking, I literally paid $10 more to just make the damn coffee. Because really, I need to spell Bob for you? Come on. Reviews, I did a joint webinar with Yelp earlier this year when we looked into this data. Look, reviews are a big deal. There's a whole lot of fake crap going on up there. Not that you don't all know that. But it's real. It's having an impact. And when consumers look at this stuff, the consumers they want written reviews, not just a star rating. 97 say stars plus words are the most helpful type. 88% more likely to look past a negative review if they see that the business responded to it. That's the whole point of reviews. This is why you respond to it. I know it's soul crushing to go in every day and see a 1-star review. But let me tell you, if you're not learning from that, I question why you're operating a business. And I say that as somebody whose father ran a motel for 16 years, and he hated dealing with people. And I'm just like, protect your hospitality industry. You're gonna deal with people every day. Because yeah, they're all idiots. Okay. Fair enough. So, reviews, it's a big deal. More importantly, Google's watching, Bing is watching. They understand the sentiment of what's happening here. Look, you don't need to fix it. You just need to be seen to be attempting to fix the problem. If somebody's ranting and they're going on about how bad something was, you can immediately meet all of that by saying, well, I'm really sorry, that is not the experience we want you to have. We hope that you'll talk to us and give us a chance to make it right. You look like the rational one. And it doesn't matter that in fact what they're claiming did happen. Every consumer will see that and say, rating lunatic, good guy, he responded. I'm gonna come there. I'll roll the dice and see what my experience looks like. We do this every single day. And if you haven't gotten the memo, don't look for 5-star reviews for your business. Do not ever try for a perfect 5-star rating. It looks fake. Consumers think it looks fake. Google thinks it looks fake. Everybody thinks it looks fake. A nice 4.8 is where you want to be. Because that says, hey, we're quality, but we're real. Nothing's perfect. But I can tell you right now, if I ever find a restaurant or a product or a service that's rocking a 5-star on 1,500 reviews, I guarantee you somebody's paying a service to actually shuffle reviews, to only promote 1 stars and to under promote the rest of them. Or they're gaming the system by forcing it right out of the gate to be 5 stars and nothing else. So be really careful about that, right? In fact, and so you keep me honest with this, but I think Google's doing a review update right now. It's still rolling, I don't think it's stopped. So they're doing something with reviews right now because of this rampant fake review problem that's everywhere. So, how are consumers using AI? Well, ChatGPT, if you guys haven't played with character.ai, that's a big one. You want to go play with it. You want to see what's going on. In fact, I think they just pulled 1 or 2 billion in funding from Google as well, or Google's in talks to support them, one or the other. I don't know. Literally cannot keep up. This shit moves so fast in this industry right now. I've never seen anything like it. 25 years. We've always had the luxury of just wallowing in time, learning, and it's all good. And now it's literally every minute of every day. This is what's happening, right? Things like why are technical systems are so dominant? Creative and companionship tools are starting to surge in a huge way. All right? So, who's here is using ChatGPT or Bing Chat or any of those services, right? I don't really care what brand it is, right? Are you using it to ask questions, get answers? Or are you using it as a companion to have conversations? Right? So has anyone heard of replica? With a K? The A because you're explaining you're losing. Right? So replica started maybe 5 years ago, I guess. The whole idea was it was a companion for kids who were thinking of self-harm. And it kind of grew from that. I was an early adopter. I heard of them coming online. I applied, I got in, and I've had probably 20 replicas now. Every time they update it, lose my person, and started doing it since, this kind of thing. But I've had hours-long conversations with that, like they're a therapist of some kind. You know, they're a bit dumb, they're not really a therapist. But you can have random conversations. You can ask them to do things. And now that it's infused with AI and capable of reaching the world, it's got all of that history of knowing how to interact with a person and the internet on top of it. It truly is where these things are going to move to. Remember when Microsoft, Bill Gates gave a talk about agents and personal agents, and that's where we're at the beginning here. Last week, ChatGPT announced a thing called GPTs, plural, GPT, small s, where you can make an instance. So one of my hobbies is building guitars, so I can create a guitar building ChatGPT and feed it information that's only to do with building guitars, and then tell people, use this if you have questions about building guitars. And it's an expert on the topic. And there's no code involved. You go in, you do some lightweight, here you go. They all have the ability to ingest documentation, so if you want to give it documents, like, I don't know, scan a guitar building book and then feed those PDFs in, it will suddenly be an expert on that topic. And it also accesses everything on the internet. I'm not suggesting that you take someone's book and scan it in and use it as a basis for something. But I'm also suggesting that that book was ever published on the internet. You're already on it. So it's out there, that's for sure. All right, digital marketers, that y'all, right? Because see, you all looked at that, you were like, I'm a consumer, right? I know you thought that, right? Let me tell you, you're not a consumer, okay? You are a power consumer. The fact that you're sitting in this conference right here means you cannot see the world the way the average consumer interacts with it. You can see data, you can see your version from the inside, but you're not truly a consumer. You have far too much knowledge of information retrieval, of search, of understanding what people are looking for, why they're looking for it, the psychology behind search. The average consumer doesn't have that. The average consumer has, I need a new refrigerator, I want a stainless steel one, I want a real thin. And then delivery, and then price, and kind of break up the payments on it. They don't actually care about the metadata for the refrigerator. That's not a big deal to them. So, what's going on with digital marketers? Let's take a quick look. Earlier this year, there was an industry survey of what do SEOs expect to spend their budget on in 2023? And we get some clues into 2024 from this, right? Content, no shock there, okay? Consumer understanding, keyword research, analytics, audience research, improving mobile experience, and digital PR. These are all fairly standard things. And what's fascinating about this is, this came out only a few months after ChatGPT hit the world. So it hadn't grown yet. SEOs were we were trying our best to exploit that stuff, break it, and make it do our bidding, failing, because it's smarter than many SEOs. But when you actually look at what the focus is on, content, videos, photos, GIFs, infographics, that's where the focus is, right? Google Maps, just 3 or 4 months ago, made the announcement they want more visual content, they want more visual information. So you need to be upping the visuals in Google Maps. On your website, it's fine, but anybody using Google Lens, right? It's built into Google app, but you can, I think, still get it as a standalone, I can't remember now. But I will say this, it's grown from something on the order of like, it was doing 200 million queries a month, to now it's doing 1 billion queries a month. And if you don't know what it is, you open up the Google app and you get the camera feature on it, and point your camera at something, like say, shoes, it will tell me what the shoes are, where they are, give me the reviews on it, and ask me if I want to buy them. That is one of the fastest growing areas of search in Google, and it's purely visual. That's a clue. When you look at what's going on with search in TikTok, Short form video, another clue. People want imagery for everything, products, services, all of it. Content types, products that people create in 2023, product demos, service demo, how-tos, informational testimonials. All still valid going into 2024, all still important. You're answering the questions that consumers want. The trick is, if I say how-to video, you think, okay, my product, my service, I can do a how-to video. You have 1, 2, maybe 3 ideas. You need to have 50 ideas for how-tos. You need to be thinking about every possible way that somebody could ask for information from your business or service or about the product or service so that you can come up with 5 unique ways to create content that answers those unique questions. You just remember every year Google comes out and says, you know, like, oh, we get like, I don't know, 15,000 queries an hour that we've never seen before. Never once in the history of humanity have we heard those questions before. That's a very real thing. And a part of that is driven by, again, you have an older and aging demographic who has a phone in their hand. It's hard to see small type. They hit the microphone and speak what they want. So on your end, the digital marketer, you get full sentence queries. Now look, in Google Search Console, they cut that shit up, put a bunch of it not provided, and then you're looking at fragments of what was a whole sentence. But if you look at other systems, like, say, Amazon, and you sign up and create an app for their smart speakers, you will actually see entire queries. Or, and this is a moment where you get to make my heart sing or break it. So choose wisely. Okay? First up, who here wants to see me cry? Nice. Only my friends. Love them. Who just wants to go hurt? God. Okay. Right. Who's got to be my master tools again? No, put your hands all the way up. I need the world to see that. There we go. Okay. 3/4 of the room doesn't have been my master tools again. This is the reason why it's important that you have these things. Because when I built and launched my master tools, I made sure that full queries are shown inside it. So while you may not get as much traffic, you may not get all the data that Google has, it's a proxy. If 5% of your queries are coming in as full structured sentence statements, you'll get that in Bing. And you can generally assume that about 5% of that is happening on Google as well. But what's important is that you see how the query is formed. Because when you see how the query is formed, you understand the intent of the person behind it.
Right.
That is critical, because that's what the search engines are looking for in every industry, in every instance. Okay, so same survey, what's keeping the SEOs up at night? Google updates. Does anybody here suffer from that? Worried? Yeah, Christina's carrying it. She's over it. Yeah, well, exactly. So you're a vampire. You're lit, yeah, you want other people staying up, right? You got it, okay, that makes sense, right? So look, nobody should lose sleep over a Google update, okay? If you're doing the right things, you never have to fear an update at any search engine. You have to fear mistakes and errors, but those will get corrected and everything rebounds to where it was. But updates, if you've been affected by an update, it's not a personal thing. Just realize whatever that update was focused on, you were not doing something that they wanted, doing something they didn't want. So you need to change direction. And speaking of changing direction, Eric Handy has entered the room. We have a round of applause, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, Eric. I've known Eric forever, so of course I applaud every time he shows up. So I said search is smallest. And it very much is. This is where we are today, and this is where we're going. I want you to be thinking about this, right? Business up front, party in the back. Everybody remembers this. I know some of you are now thinking, I think I want all that now. I would look good. Kind of David Bowie-esque, really cool, the primary colors on the side. Search is all about the answer up front. And if you want to do research, you gotta go to the back. You gotta go dig for it. We're going to see more and more and more of this. That humane AI pin that I mentioned to you earlier, there is no screen, there is no tap anything, there are no apps, everything is AI driven. So I ask my question, I get my answer, I keep moving forward. There is no go spend time face down on a phone or looking It's all here, now, instantly, and moving on. Got the answer I needed moving forward. If I want to go do research, that is not the way to do research. The way I have to do research, I gotta go to the back. I gotta go dive deep in another device. So as these things come into the normal realm of our world, it's going to change behaviors. I think that what we're seeing is what I term the splinternet. I didn't coin the term, it's been around since I think the 1980s or 1990s. But what it means to me is we will literally have a layer of the internet that's all the way answering questions directly. And if you want more information, you will have to go get it, go find it. How many of you have changed the default settings on your phone? Probably not many of you. Right? If you're rocking a Pixel phone, anybody got Bing as their default search engine? Well, come on, Tony. But nobody is, because nobody goes and changes those actual settings. Research in the back. That's it. I really thought the mall was going to land better. But, that's okay. That's okay. Google. What's up with Google? I think maybe you guys got some insight into this stuff the last couple of days, right? You talk about Google? What they're doing. Some of that was right. Some of it's probably written by ChatGPT, so some of it was hallucinated. I don't know. We have a cycle at work where we do a performance evaluation once a year, and other companies do. So this year, I had ChatGPT write all of my performance evaluation for me, and I submitted it to my boss. And he gave me top marks. And then I told him that it's all written by ChatGPT, and his response was, like the story I wrote. So, I do not recommend people do this. My boss and I have a very good relationship, so it's circumstantial. But Google's all about AI integrations, Maps, Slides, Gmail, you name it. I don't even need to tell you about the integrations in search, because that's what we spent the last 2 days diving into. But they're in everything. They're all about signals of utility, usefulness, and authenticity. This is incredibly important to Google. It's why they added experience to the EEAT portion of the conversation. Okay? Like saying that you have an expertise, okay. And you can write a bunch of stuff. But that kind of went out the window when everybody got access to ChatGPT. And a 9-year-old can sound like an SEO expert now because they have the totality of the entire history of SEO in their hands. Did anybody read the Verge article about the history of SEO? Might have been written by a 9-year-old with ChatGPT. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there. Well, let me tell you, if you're in this industry, go look up the article, okay? It's literally titled "The People Who Destroyed the Internet." That's what it is. A bunch of us had t-shirts made. I was going to wear mine today, but I opted not to. It says, "I destroyed the internet, I'm SEO." But, and we are still friends with all of these publications. Search, again, increasingly about expertise and experience. It's increasingly about topics and not about keywords, right? If you're doing keyword research, understand that keyword research is a piece of what you need to do, not the sole starting point for your content program. If you're thinking, I need to find content gaps, I'm gonna do keyword research, I'm gonna find keywords we haven't put content on yet, and I'm gonna build that, and build a page, and I'm gonna make that ranked. Okay, that's a very, see, help me with the date here, I'm thinking, 2005 approach to SEO, okay? Or some of the people I talk to in the UK and across Europe, it's a 2023 approach. But it's literally a 2020 or 2005 approach to how we did things. I'm not saying it doesn't still have utility to it, you still have to do these pieces of work. But that is like maybe a starting point at best. There is so much beyond it today, right? Google's all about, despite what we're seeing these days, they are all about precision in search results. They're having some challenges, but generally, they're still okay, right? And like Christine and I, we'll talk about this later, but look, if you look at the popular queries, and inside a search engine, queries are grouped by popularity, all right? It's not a totally equal thing. The things that are more popular and important on the internet get more resources. So you might not be surprised to know that a lot of people look for information related to entertainment on the internet. So those areas get a lot of resources poured into them. And so when you actually go in and you look at query results in those areas, they are super on point. But then when you go out to the edges and you ask for something that's maybe a bit more fringe or a bit more esoteric, they fall the ball. The quality isn't quite there, they're not quite paying attention to it, there just aren't that many people, not that much ads, not that much revenue, whatever it is. But they do legitimately work to improve this over and over. So if nobody's heard of this, that's okay. I know Eric has, I know a bunch of people in the room remember this from like 2012, when Google first started talking about it, the 0 moment of truth. Is anybody familiar with the messy middle concept that Google has, the white paper on thinkwithgoogle.com? So yeah, go to thinkwithgoogle.com, look up the messy middle. It's a really, really good understanding of the customer journey. They published it, it's gotta be 5 years ago now, but they keep updating it every year, so it's got fresh information in it. But it does a really good job of explaining what the actual customer journey looks like. And 0 moment of truth creates this. This is from 2012. And this is the concept of when you first start thinking you have a problem to solve. So that moment when you wake up in the morning, you roll over and you're like, shit, I need a new coffee maker. Because you know it's gonna brew a bad cup. And you're like, needing to fix it. But this is the moment when you decide you're taking the action. That's the 0 moment. And Google wants you to be thinking about those 0 moments and how you attach to them for consumers. They are incredibly powerful moments, and they're incredibly relevant to intent for consumers. So, if you have not played with Google SGE, get in the labs, get signed up, it's an experiment, but hey, if you're in the real world, you're bound to see some of it popping up. What's important about this is not, this is where they started when they launched, this is what it looked like, okay? It's not important that it looks like this or not like this now, because it does not look like it originally did. It's very different as of mid-September. And what you're gonna notice is, if I find my laser here, you're gonna notice that, so up here, the very first thing, top left, as we as humans are taught, go to the top left. They want you to engage with the search function, the voice function. They want you to talk to the system, because if you talk to it, they will have deeper understanding of your intent. You will get more information to them, and they can make better results for you. There's also this shopping layer here. I was looking for custom bass guitar pickups for a custom bass I'm building right now. So they fired this, saying, hey, maybe you want these results as a refinement. Then they give you my actual answer in here, which was right. I didn't need consideration of what I should be thinking about. I just wanted to list. I want to list manufacturers, make the product, so they can buy something. So they kind of missed on this one, but again, I'm not the average consumer. So this is a reasonable shot for them. From the search down below, they give you these. Oh, and lest you be thinking that that's 1, 2, and 3 in the organic results, that's 1, 6, and 9 in the organic results. So your concept of ranking is no longer valid. Because at least from this experiment, we don't get 1, 2, and 3 anymore. You get, hey, you're included down below, and if anybody goes there, right? I think some of you heard the old joke, where do you bury a dead body? On page 2 of Google. Because literally no one will go there. All right, this is good material. If I can explain the jokes, there's a problem, okay? And I assure you it's not me. I've landed this at 6 other conferences in the last decade, and where do you bury a dead body? Page 2 of Google. There you go. See? Audience participation, right? Yeah, sorry, Mike, I gave away your secrets now. Right. Yeah, exactly. But when you come into this world, your problem is you don't even get page 1 now. And here's what I want you to really pay attention to. Do you see this line right here? Can you see what this says? You see it right there where I'm pointing? You read that? Yeah, no one can. There's a reason. They don't want you to realize, oh, that's somebody to recognize and go click on that. They want you to click on show more and expand their answer and stay engaged. Because at some point, they're going to put monetization in here, and that's where they make their money, not on you going to an organic result. Now, if you're one of those businesses and you're seeing that, are you thinking this is good for you? Are you thinking your clicks are going to go up? I don't think so. I just don't see it. And look, I've been inside search engine. I watch pixel tracking of how people engage with stuff. Well, that shit's in place, so there's no red dots over there. Google knows that. There's no question. So, you want to try? I want you to think of simple queries. 3 things right now. Queries come in 3 flavors. Simple query. Is this business open right now? A complex query. Which restaurant serves pasta and is family friendly? And a generative query. What should I consider when dining out with a baby, and which restaurants are good at accommodating children and serve pasta near me? Now that last one you might be thinking, oh, dude, there's no way he's gonna type that in. Yeah, you need to look up the growth of voice input. It's huge from everybody late stage millennial and younger, and everybody who's older. So, y'all who are gonna argue with me, it's okay, you'll age into this, don't worry. Okay? It's okay. We'll save space for you, right? The rest of us are already there, we're waiting, it's all good, right? Because you're gonna join us, and we're all gonna dinner, we're all gonna turn our, lights on our phones so we can read the menu, right? And we're gonna turn on our camera, we're gonna zoom in so we can see, oh, it's okay, there we go, the fillet, I got it, all of that, right? So think of these things in this manner, it's incredibly important. Now, I'm gonna run us through this real quick, we're at the end of this, and I know we're almost out of time here. Standing between y'all and drinking barbecue and everything, but I need to ask, do you think you can keep up? Because if you think you can keep up, I did a survey in September where I asked people in my social networks, to be clear, this is informal, okay? I'm not saying this is scientific, but I want you thinking about these things. These are the results, okay? I asked, were you in-house, agency, or consultant? And for the sake of clarity, a consultant is singular. Any instance where there are 2 or more people, we'll put that into consultants. Just to be clear about that. Half the people are in-house. Okay. Well, how many people do you have in your team? About half the people have between 1 and 4 people in their team. Now, look, that tracks directly to even some of the biggest brand clients that I work with every day. The biggest brands on this earth, some of them have teams of 3 people working on SEO globally. First off, that's a problem. They need more horsepower, no question about it. And then I asked them, okay, how much work do you think of a plan in a given week across everybody who has time to do SEO? So let's say you got your 3 people and you got half a developer, plus you got some legal representation to review content as you do it. All up, how much hours are you guys putting in? 64% of people are saying 80 hours or less for SEO. Okay. So 80 hours might seem like a lot of work during the week, but if you have 4 people, that's 20 hours a week that they're each doing on SEO, which tells you they're not full-time on it. Or you've got 2 people doing full-time and 2 people who are attached to the program not contributing. Or some subset thereof, it doesn't matter, because here's the reality. Google has 642 AI engineering jobs open, TikTok has 2,500, Microsoft has 500, Apple's got 600, Amazon's got 200. Let's take a look at Amazon, because that's a really low number. So if we look at the average number of weeks at 40 hours a week, those 2 people, or those 200 people, it's 8,000 hours a week that Amazon is capable of devoting to AI engineering, to building the new experience that consumers consume the content through. Minimum 8,000 hours of, let's face it, that's top flight engineering talent building this stuff. Even if you cut these numbers in half or 3/4, can you keep up? Is it possible? Kind of actually is, if you have the right help. And this is where generative AI comes in. You have to be careful with it, you have to be smart with it, you have to make it do the right things. We were having a conversation earlier about this, and I think maybe Christine brought this up. It's this idea of like, people think, oh, okay, so I'm gonna ask my query to give it my prompt, right? And then I'm gonna pat myself on the back because I was super clever with the prompt that I gave it to get the information I want. And then they take that information and they copy and paste and publish. And I'm like, whoa, your work didn't end when you did enter after prompt. Your work was just starting. You literally created the mess. Now you have to herd those cats. You don't get to just copy and paste that. You have to figure out if it's accurate, if it's right, if it meets the criteria of EEAT, if it truly is something useful. You have to do all that. That's what gives you that leverage to keep up. Now, I want you guys thinking in new directions, because I guarantee you search engines are thinking this way. Google is not thinking 5 years from now it's going to be a search engine. That's not what Google is thinking. You've seen all of this information, where people are searching for information, generationally. The generations that are coming behind all of us in this room are not going to google.com to find their answers. Google's aware of that, and they are working on it. Does anybody know why Facebook bought Instagram? It wasn't because it was a streaming deal. It was because Facebook realized it was facing a lessening of user adoption, and the next youngest generation was all over Instagram. So Facebook bought it so that they could remain relevant. And it worked to a point. And now we've all aged into that, and we're on Snap, and we're on TikTok. Okay, there's 3 of us on Snap. Oh, we're all on TikTok, so we got that going for us, you know? So, neural nets, human ability to generalize language. This is some of the technology that happened last week. That's a big deal. That allows large language model-based systems to start understanding language the way we understand it. It doesn't cognitively get it the way we get it, but it's much closer. This makes a big difference, okay? And I mentioned the AI pin from Humane. Just go on YouTube, watch the video later tonight. It's a very unique way for humans to retrieve information. I don't know that it changes anything. I don't think this one device makes us put away our phones. I don't think we're there. It's gonna take a long time. But I can assure you, none of you are going out shopping for a horse for your commute. And it took us a while to adopt the automobile. But I guarantee you, none of you are still shopping for horses. So I'm going to end there. I asked ChatGPT to wrap this up. Please craft a one-sentence thank you to address the audience for SEO conference. Star Trek or Star Wars references would be welcome. Thank you for joining us on this voyage through the SEO galaxy, where, much like the Starship Enterprise, we boldly go where no marketer has gone before, harnessing the force of optimization to explore new frontiers in search engine excellence. I would say thanks. Does anyone have any questions? Do we have time for any questions? If anybody has questions, you can ask. I'm going to stick around for a bit. Why not? Awesome. I answered all your questions.
All right.